I was really happy when I got the news. I remember like refreshing my emails and seeing the subject lines. Then I smiled right away.
I remember responding right away, like, yeah, I accept the offer. I'm not sure who it was, but they responded back, thank you for your quick response. And I'm like, yeah, I really wanted it.
My other jobs have all been like pretty like informal, but this was like, whoa, government job, it sounds pretty crazy. First of all, I had to go buy nice clothes because all of my clothes were not fit for a job like this.
I found out through some friends. They messaged me about this internship, and I thought it was a great opportunity. I was a little bit nervous for my first day, but that's pretty much all I felt.
My friend told me, she's actually a graduating senior, so she told me about this and she did it 2 years ago. And she told me, yeah, it was like a great experience. She met a lot of people that she's still friends with now, and it would be great a technical experience too.
I was just really deep into senior year and like senioritis. When I got like the email that I was asked for an interview, I was definitely really surprised and very shocked.
For the interview, I feel like I kind of messed that up, so I wasn't really expecting much. Coming in, it was a really big surprise on how modern everything was, especially with the tour with ROM. Seeing the open workspace that's here, like how everyone's able to communicate to each other, how there's like spaces for events, private conference rooms, all that. Especially there's like a vault, like that's crazy,
I don't think I've seen so many monitors in my entire life. Definitely super duper modern.
I was glad to see that my dad works in a cool place. Yeah.
My first impression of the internship was, it was like really ideal, at least for my major, at least for the curriculum that they teach us in university. It's kind of outdated. Currently on the projects I'm working on, I get to work with like all the new tech, like actually do like real world stuff.
At first, I just want to get like some experience and apply what I learn in class. But you can learn just by absorbing how people collaborate and how problems are solved in a team settings. So technical skills are only one part of being successful in a real work setting.
I'm a Linux user. I don't use Windows much, so having to use like Active Directory and everything with Microsoft has been a learning step, but I think it's gonna be helpful for like stuff in college like CCDC and more stuff like that.
I learned how to work with different responsive devices like on phones and tablets while I'm making the website.
So the meeting with Tim was really fun too. I've lived in Alameda County my whole life. I've never really learned too much about it. I took a gov course in high school that was like federal government and state government, not like county level. So being able to learn a lot about like the layout of like all the people who work at so many people, it was really, really cool to learn about that as well.
We had Keith come speak to us about cybersecurity. He was really big on like closing our laptops and like recent breaches that have happened with ITD.
I kind of learned how to be more proactive about passwords and cybersecurity in general. And then I remember I think following that session, like the day after, there was like a breach of like 6 million passwords. Having that session and then seeing that news kind of just like connected everything together and
And the presentation was like pretty interesting and fun. I was called out because I didn't lock my keyboard. I'm like, yeah, like that makes sense. You just need to like get in the habit of doing these things.
Also really like the data center because I've never been to like a place like that, neither have I been to like a government building.
It was really cool to see the physical sides of technologies, the server backup systems, and how everything is maintained and protected.
They're shrinking it currently because they want to migrate to the cloud. How there's like a private generator in case power fails makes me feel better about living in ITD County, knowing my data is secure.
Relating to my project, I learned a lot about the CRIMS team and what they do and how many aspects are like behind what we see as a regular civilian. The CRIMS team is looking into converting one of its APIs into Java. So that's what I'm looking into to see if it's feasible or if it's worth it to convert. I'll be using ChatGPT, Claude, the most basic ones like those to see what the AI can do for me. It's been a great experience just working with my mentors. There is a little bit hope out there. AI can't do everything for us. It could do some parts of it, like converting the source code, but a lot of the framework and architecture, I think we need manual input.
So there's like kind of three main projects: the routing redundancy, general hardware upgrades, and then there's a firewall hardening project. I've mainly been working on the first two. Routing redundancy, basically the main project for that category, it's like a router in the admin building or the courthouse to a building called Lakeside, and basically there's a fiber cable connected from one to the other, but there's also an extra one that was installed like years ago that hasn't been used, and they don't know if it even works because no one's used it before. But we're testing that out to make sure if it works or not. In the case that they're doing construction on the street and the cable's cut, you want to make sure that you have like a backup recovery, so it would be nice to know if it works. It also ties into hardware upgrade because I'm replacing the router in Lakeside, and I'm also using these devices that measure like signals to test whether or not the fiber cable actually works. For hardware upgrades, I'm basically RMAing a bunch of switches and routers. I essentially take the configuration from the old routers and switches and rewrite it for the new one, because it's not necessarily you copy and paste the script. You need to edit the script, make sure it fits all the requirements for the new one, and then I just like input it and test it out to make sure it works.
I'm a part of the SSA Technologies team, and one of the things they're working on is this thing called an app generator. And one part of that is working on creating these things called reports. A lot of the older legacy data sources and stuff that we need to take those and create these reports out of them. Each different one is going to be a little bit different, so we're creating a generalized program that's able to convert all these data into one type of report and then display that for all the users to be able to use.
I'm in the GSI teams. I'm working on analyzing data to understand what factors might be correlated to violent crimes. That includes cleaning and organizing data sets, building models, looking at graphs, and trying to find patterns that could help explain where and why crimes happen. The tools we use include Python, Excel, and ArcGIS. In ArcGIS, we will perform hotspots analysis to identify areas with high concentrations of violent crimes.
I'm on the server team, and my project, I'm provisioning resources on the cloud, which is Microsoft Azure is what they use here. Basically, I'm doing that through code through this tool called Terraform. And what they do currently with deploying resources is they do it all manually, like clicking through buttons on a graphical interface. I'm hoping to automate that through code. They're like having me create templates for them. So basically, if you want to provision something like a virtual machine, you could do it through a single command rather than clicking through a ton of buttons and spending a ton of time.
So I'm currently working with the taxing and billing team, and I'm currently making a supplemental tax calculator. So right now I'm creating a website for it, and I'm using different languages like JavaScript and HTML to make it. So how this works is when you input your data, like the purchase date or the row value, it will automatically calculate it, and it'll give you your supplemental tax rates, and your pro rata factor, and things like that. I'm currently in the process of implementing the different responsive devices so it works on multiple devices like tablets and phones.
Right now I'm on the GIS team where I'm finding the correlation between like external factors and crime. Like these factors could include like demographic, like race, income, and rent and employment. And then when we found a correlation, we're building a model to predict crime. So far, we've developed like a linear regression model, and so far it's performing like okay. It has like an R-squared value of 0.3. So right now we're trying to create indexes that can explain the crime more. We've been using like ArcGIS, which there's definitely like a steep learning curve to that too. I've also learned a lot about getting the data, but also like engineering it so that we could use it in our model.
I think my biggest takeaway from this program is probably going to be working in a team in an organization like this, being consistent. We have like sprint planning meetings, like that's been super interesting for me. Like being able to work in a professional environment outside of like academics and stuff is really something that I'm really interested to take away from this.
As of now, I feel like the biggest takeaway is you don't live to work, you work to live. I noticed how like the environment, at least with like the networking team. They genuinely like enjoy what they do. It's not just, oh, I need to get this like work done because it's my job and like it's my profession. They all like genuinely enjoy networking and all of the like curriculum that comes with it, because one time I went to lunch with them and then they were just like talking about random things unrelated to work, and then all of a sudden they started comparing Wi-Fi speeds and stuff, and I'm like this, and then they turned to me, they were like, yeah, this is what we talk about in our free time, because they're genuinely like interested in it, because you don't want to work in a career that you like dislike, right?
My biggest takeaways is I realized that I enjoy using data science in a real work settings, that I want to continue pursuing data science and find a job in this field.
My biggest takeaway would be working in a professional environment and the cloud. I've really enjoyed my time here. This is something I can see myself doing in the future.
I think this experience has taught me that in the future, I want to explore computer science through the different sessions and the projects I'm doing.
So I've always wanted to be in the IT space, and this experience has been really helpful for me. And I think it's really cool, so I'll probably still stay in that route of IT.
My biggest takeaway would probably be like understanding how AI plays a role in the workplace, because I know for school, or definitely for myself, I use it, but at school it was definitely very discouraged. But I think when I came here, my mentor definitely encouraged it, especially when I was stuck.
I think my favorite part of the internship is being able to learn from industry experts. You learn something that you can't learn from a textbook, and also working with other interns and just kind of collaborating has been really good for me, and just kind of the social aspect of the job.
My favorite part of this internship would definitely be working hands-on with the equipment. It's kind of rewarding when you connect things and you can see it work, like you feel redeemed for like all of the work you do.
I really enjoy like the more of like the professional experiences where I sit on meetings and then seeing how like the business side of things go along with like the technical side.
Okay, another thing that I've really found that was really awesome was being able to connect with so many people in such a short time. Like, we're only here for 8 weeks, but I've made friends with all the interns. There's 7 of us. It's been super fun.
Well, since I'm one of the youngest ones there, they always give me advice as well. Most of them are going to college, so they give me advice about like senior year and how to write my college applications and things like that.
Exploring the workspace nearby. Yeah.
We're really indecisive, so actually like multiple instances where we like would go out to lunch, but we all wanted to go, but we didn't know where to go where, and then we would all end up going back to Chipotle.
Working on the puzzle with the other interns, there's this 500-piece cat puzzle, I think. We make sure to clean up after ourselves, of course, because like we want to be professional and all that.
Yeah, so on the whiteboard, we draw a lot of like different animals and things like that. Sometimes we draw each other, and it's just like a fun moment.
Oh yeah, and I also like to thank my friends that have kind of recommended me this opportunity. If it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't be here and get my first paycheck, so it's really nice.